Hey there, good morning. Welcome back to Angry Bird. Today is the 7th, and we are down 1,000 in Dow futures before we even begin. So, not only have we lost close to $6 trillion in wealth in 2 days, okay, if you don't know, that's what the stock market caved in 2 days, about $6 trillion. Today, we're already down 1,000, and we haven't even started. It just, I hate to laugh, but it's just a fucking shit show. And there's a few out there left. There's not many, man. I'm telling you, there ain't many, but there are a few fist pumpers left that are just like thinking it's going to turn. And it just couldn't be further from the truth. There's no sign anywhere out there that anything is turning around. Zero. And these guys are out there thinking like, yeah, we're negotiating and it's all going to get better somehow. Nobody negotiates with somebody they can't trust. Who does? Do you ever do a deal with someone you can't trust? Is Trump trustworthy? He's fucking not. Is our government trustworthy right now? No, we fucking aren't. So who out there is going to deal with us? Nobody. They all left us now. We're by ourselves. And we don't know what the fuck to do. So, MAGA's finding out. We all knew, and now we're getting fucked. And the economy is tanking. And everything's starting to happen now. Now it's happening. Now people feel the pain. And now people are starting to wonder how much money they're going to lose before should they pull it out. What, there's a panic going on, and it's not going to stop. The only way this stops is people see something that will turn it around, and they're offering nothing. They're offering no due process. They're offering a tax. They're offering military, invasions. They're offering nothing that stabilizes. All they offer is an escalation of hostility. And when you're on the outside looking at other countries to trade with, the last one you trade with is an untrustworthy, doing hostilities country. Okay? We are that country that when another country has an earthquake that kills 3,000 people and is all in fucking just chaos, we're that country now that says, fuck you, pay us. We don't care. Miramar, had an earthquake, lost 3,000 people, and they're in just dire straits. And nope. Our tariffs include them too. That's what country we are. Who trades with a country like that? Be honest with yourselves. When you fist pump, be honest. Think about what you're, who is going to work with us, So there's no end. This isn't a bottom thing where you're going to see the bottom soon. The chaos is starting, not ending. It's starting. What I would suggest is just be vocal. Keep speaking truth to power and help who you can help. And don't stop voicing and don't stop being a voice of reason out there. And catch as many as you can. These people that are out there that were hoodwinked into the propaganda. They couldn't escape, and now they're fucked, and they're coming out of it. Try to be, and I know it's hard, but try to be as reasonable as you can, and try to understand that not everybody. I mean, in all honesty, not everybody's capable. Only 15% in the according to the book I read and the statistics, only 15% of us really know what the fuck's going on. The other 85% wing it. And that includes a large sum of our own group, Democrats. A large sum of us are just winging it. And that means that even our own group doesn't have all the tools. So when we ask other people to have all the tools, it's just not fair. You're given tools and you've figured it out maybe, or you follow people that have, and you've trusted the right person. You could have just as easily, if you don't have all the tools, trusted the wrong person, is what I'm getting at. The statistics show that 15% really, 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 really understand the stuff, and then like about 85% of us just kind of wing it. And we all have our trust me bro guy that, the 85%, they all have their trust me bro guy that they kind of follow and trust, and it makes sense, whatever they're saying. And so we kind of stick with that person. And so if you stick with the wrong person, what do you get? You get hoodwinked. You start buying masculinity videos. You start following Andrew Tate when you're a child. You start following paths that make sense to you with the amount of tools you've been given. And when they don't give us the tools on purpose, and then they lie to us on purpose, you can't be a dick to these people, man. Until you see the hostility yourselves from them, try not to be a jerk. That's all, man. I mean, I know you got fucked over if you're me. They fucked us. They weren't paying attention. That there's people that were sitting out that shouldn't have. That there were groups of people that, like Gaza, in their country, it was going to get worse if they didn't vote for the Dem. But, it doesn't matter. What matters is today we started the day where we were at, and now how do we build? And a lot of people don't want to build. They don't want to build with guys with red hats. They don't. They don't want to build with guys that are Islamic. They don't. They don't want to build with people. They're attached to some identity. They're attached to something. And then deep down, they got something against somebody else. The only time I have a problem with somebody with a red hat is when they argue something with me and it gets to the point where it gets to the trust me bro point, and then they just go, well, you believe what you want and I'm going to believe what I want. That's when I got a problem, because when you're faith driven, you'll believe fucking anything. You really just will. There's all sorts of faith driven shit, rabbit holes and otherwise. There's just, there's no evidence. It's just you believe something and that's it. So in a society like that, that's where I go, gosh, man, just wake up. That's not how it's supposed to work. Trust me, bro, isn't supposed to be our thought process as Americans. We're supposed to think for ourselves, come up with our own thoughts and be critical of our own thoughts. And then when people weigh in, use both of our damn ears on it and try to, with the new information and your old information, assess it and make a new opinion. And you always bow to better arguments. How do you know when one's better? How do you know? Well, I mean, let's say, what's a good one? I always try to use the hypocritical shit, So what's a good bullshit argument? Save the children and then starve them after they're born. That's the easy peasy fucking bullshit argument, right? We're saving the children. Starve you fuckies. Don't breed them if you can't feed them. It's just like the most ridiculous off the charts lie. And yet people attached to the punchline, attached to the idea that children are growing up in front of them, happy, playing around on playground, everybody's having a good time. And then they just disconnect from, they don't use both ears. They use one, they listen to one side, and they leave out the other. and the person starving don't get heard. So you got to use both ears, and you got to assess the new information and then make a better decision on where you stand. And that's fucking hard to do, man. And I don't do it very well all the time either. But I try. And I do bow to better arguments, I think. I'm pretty sure I do. So part of me believes that when these red hats come around, and they come in droves, and they are coming in droves now. If we really want to make America right, really, really, really fast, the only way is really to collect them in with love, to be honest. How do you love somebody that just betrayed you? Put their shoes on, and then you'll see. That's all you got to do. Think of it like this. If you had 4 kids, and you're by yourself, and one of them had a high fever, high fever. You don't have money to go to the doctor. You don't have transportation to get to the ER. ERs are more expensive, but you can at least get your kid saved tonight. And you can worry about that bill later. It's an ER, right? So you can get something done. And you don't have no money. And you know that there's 24-hour stores that got Tylenol. But you don't got no money. So you go to the store and you steal the Tylenol. And the manager catches you. Employees catch you. Call the police. They catch you. Now you got 4 kids at home. 1 sick as a dog. You got caught stealing. And now your kid's sick at home. And now what do you do? If you had 2 ears and you understood the situation, and you were that manager, and you were that employee, and you heard the entire story of what was going on, what would you have done? Be honest. Would you have just said, fuck you and your sick child at home, we're calling the police, you know better? Would you have done that? Or would you have just said, you know what, don't worry about it. Here's a bottle, I'll buy it. Or would you have said, you know what, put the bottle back, I have some extra in my pocket here. What would you have done if you had known that whole story? You see, that's the difference. If you know the whole story, now you have all the information. Now you can make a decision. Now you might still say, no, you blew it. You stole. Your kids need a house at the, you might still have something in your head that mom who went out to go challenge the law to save her child, to give her child some comfort, to get through the night. You're going to overlook that and go, the law mattered more. To me, the mom mattered more. To me, the mom's love mattered more than the profit of the fucking company. We should have provided the Tylenol where she didn't have to fucking go look to steal as a society. Our sick deserve better than a mom that has to go look for fucking medicine to steal. And if you have 2 ears, you see those things and you can make a better fucking decision. But there are people out there that can't. Law and order, black and white. That's it. And that's not fair. It's not fair to people that are struggling. And it's not fair to people that never have their voices heard when they're in situations they almost can't avoid. What would you have done? You might have knocked on a few doors. What if you lived in a poor neighborhood where nobody helped nobody? What if you've already used up and burned all your borrowing? What if you've been struggling for 10, 15 years already and nobody wants to help you anymore because you've always needed help and you always will? You see, there's a point in society where someone else has got to pitch in. That story happened when I was 17 years old. I was 17. The person I knew is Patricia. Her brother's name's Tony, was one of my friends. Tony calls me, his sister's getting fucking jailed, and he needs help. And, it's like, it's the biggest bullshit. You're 17. I'm 17. I'm like, why didn't you just ask? I have some at home, I'm not thinking, I haven't put their shoes on yet. I haven't put her shoes on yet. All I'm thinking at 17 is, why the hell would you do that? And there are Americans out there right now going, why the hell would you do that? And as an adult, I've grown into using two. And I'm trying to see. And if you try to see, you will fucking allow MAGA this fucking mistake. Because it doesn't fucking matter anymore. What matters is how we started today out now. Where are we at? And where do we want to fucking be tomorrow? And they are us. They are the hoodwinked us. They are just as betrayed as we are. They are just as fucked over as we are. And they are going to struggle just as much as we are now. Nobody's escaping this. So why the fuck leave them out? Open the fucking doors. They're coming. And Americans welcome Americans. Americans welcome people that care. We show empathy even to those that didn't. We give people due process, even to those of us that didn't show us due process. Because we're fucking Americans, man. We live by a code. We live by law and order. We live by a constitution. We believe in that shit. And if you don't know, it's all under attack. And what better way to get it all back very, 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 very fast than to get as many people as fast as possible within our ranks that just want a few things. They want to be left the fuck alone. They want to be able to seek their liberty and happiness unobstructed. And when they are in trouble, they want due process. And if we can get some of these things done where we get our ranks higher numbers, it'll get done a lot faster. It's just a thought. I know there's people that out there that feel so betrayed, they won't do it. They will not allow another person into our group. They're just so stubborn like that. They're just, and you can't blame them. What happened? How do you feel when you're betrayed, right? You don't want to welcome people back in that just betrayed you. But at the same time, if you have 2 ears and you put the shoes on of the person trying to come out of that group, you'll fucking see it. I meet these people all the time. I'm telling you, there's a large group of people out there that mean nobody no harm. It was an inescapable propaganda bubble. And now that they're betrayed and they're feeling that fucking sting, please welcome them. All right. Love y'all. Bye.